All right, I guess you guys can hear me now. If you can hear me, just say that on the comment section. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now, please? All right, I guess you guys can hear me now. If you can hear me, just okay. I think it's a perfect time to start. Like I said earlier, I apologize for the hiccup. Before we go ahead, let me just I think I don't like the way my stuff is. It's just kind of plain, okay? Uh, okay. I think it is better now. We can start. So first things first, let's talk about video editing. If you are in this class for this training session, I believe that it is because you either want to, like I asked you guys on the group, it's either you want to become a freelancer, you want to work for a video corporation, maybe marketing agency, or you are a content creator who's looking forward to start making content that gets views. Now, all of these categories are very, very much important, especially if you want to become a content creator or you work for content creators. When I say content creators, I'm talking for people who create content, video content in particular, because you could write copies, all right? So those that are writing copies using maybe ChatGPT, or you are racking your head to write copies that get traction, referred to as content creators. But why do I say content creators? Anytime I use the term content creators, it is always with regards to video content creation. The reason why video content creation is very unique is this: it uses all of the facets of content creation. For example, before you make a video, you must write your scripts. That includes making copies, right? So there are people who get paid for just writing copies. We call them copywriters. For you to create your scripts as a content creator, it simply means you are that good, all right? Now you have to convert from scripts to voiceover. So your audio game also has to be nice. In fact, they say that if you're having a good video with bad audio, then the video is worthless. A few seconds ago, you guys almost couldn't hear what I was saying. No matter how good my video is going to look like or how intense the class is going to be, without proper audio, it is crap. Then the thing that gets the most views or gets more traction is how is the look and feel of your video? What does it look like? So that's why video editing is very important. So either you want to be a freelancer or you want to work in a corporation, whether marketing or video production, in a production company, movie, cinema, or what have you, or you are a YouTuber, or you are maybe, as we call them nowadays, influencer. You want to create good content so that people can come to your page and you can get monetized. Doing that, all of these shows that you have a lot of prospects if you can own this skill. So it is very important what we are going to be doing here today and the other days, because the reason I want to split this class to more than one day, it's not as if we cannot take this all through, but the reason is because I want everything to sit. It's not enough to just pay money or come attend the class and go. The most important thing, the joy that we have, is when we are now creating our project, a unique project that everyone is going to create by themselves. I'll see you guys putting up the skills that you've learned thus far. So without further ado or wasting much time, let us jump into the software we're going to be using. Like I said earlier, not today, but on the group, I did mention that what you're going to be using for your video creation is not unique to one software. It's not, the software is not the most important part. It is good, but it's not the most important. The techniques of the video editor is superior to the software. If it's just the software, new software comes out every day. Depending on the kind of gadget I'm using to work, that's what tells me the software I'm going to use for the project. For example, before I started using Adobe Premiere Pro, in fact, the Adobe suites of software, After Effects, Premiere Pro, and the rest, I was using Camtasia. Just give me any software, I'll just play with it. It is the end goal, what I want to do, that's most important. So, but why did I say we should get Adobe Premiere Pro? The reason for Premiere Pro is this. I don't know where you are focused on, all right? Well, if you are a freelancer, for example, your clients may tell you to project files. If you work in corporation, sometimes you'll be working in a team. They will give you a particular section to work with. You don't want to be working using Final Cut Pro to work while your colleague is using Adobe Premiere Pro. Industry standard is to use Adobe suite of software. So this includes Adobe Premiere Pro for video editing, After Effects for motion design and animation works. Depending on the kind of animation you want to look at, we're looking at Adobe Animate. We're also looking at creating vector files and design using Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop for pictures and the rest. Okay, so let us delve into software. I believe by this time that all of you guys have already installed Adobe Premiere Pro on your PC. So what I want to do at this moment is just to jump into Adobe, my desktop. Jump into my desktop. That's why I told you guys to get this particular one installed, because sometimes if you are using earlier versions of this, you could be seeing some differences. These are things I don't like. Okay, so thank you very much. I've fixed it now. Guys, you guys really have to forgive me. Forgive me for all of these. Is due to the situation that just bamboozled me earlier. But I think it's corrected now. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you very much. I think we should have audio by now. Okay. Audio should be back now. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm just gonna wait for you guys a bit so that we are on the same page. So if you can hear the audio at the moment, just tell me yes, yes, audio is back. All right, so I think we can continue now. We can continue. So I told you that, okay, how did we get here? We got here by clicking a new project, okay? I've named mine Masterclass. So if I want to change the location of this, for example, let's say I want to change the location to something else in my project, maybe another folder, somewhere else. I don't want to keep it here. What am I going to do? I'm just going to trace it back to the place I want it to be. So it's going to just click the browse and keep it wherever I want. Okay, anywhere I like, and I save it there. But because I like where I've saved mine already, I'm just going to leave it and continue. So just click cancel and click OK. Now they're telling me this project already exists. Should I replace? So, okay, maybe this I've already saved on the masterclass before. I'll just say masterclass 1. So there you go. So leave Premiere to do its thing. It will just load and open. Okay, so this is the dreaded interface that Premiere has. Many persons, when they open and see all of these, they just get scared and didn't know what to do. I'm going to show you everything to do, okay? When you lack understanding about the particular thing, you need to look for someone who could put you through instead of losing interest, all right? So first things first, you see this blue bounding box that we have here. We call this the source monitor. This source monitor, okay? Now, for this side here, we call this the project. So everything that has to do with our project, this is where we're going to find it. All right, so you see import media to start because you will need clips to work with. You are a video editor. Now, you have already, at this point, before you open your software to edit, you have already gotten the clips with which you will be working with. All right, you have a plan in your head. Say, okay, I've written my script. I know what is going to come. I have shot. Just imagine that maybe as I'm shooting these clips now, definitely I'm going to edit this later. All right. So I know how the parts I'm going to cut out. Maybe I have Peter Obi clips. I'm doing a documentary on Peter Obi when he went to so church, when he went to so place. I will gather all of these clips. So I want to import all of this into the software before I start manipulating them. That's what video editing is about. Whatever skills you use to manipulate clips so that they can be as engaging as possible to your viewers. We know that human attention span is very, very short. In fact, you have 7 seconds, just 7 seconds to leave a good impression in the hearts of your viewers. You want to make sure that you get them glued to their screen whenever they are watching your content. So editing the right way is very, very good. So you know the clips that you want to use, you import all of them. So it is in this project side that we have here, the projects here. That's what we use to import. Okay, so I can just, there are 2 major ways I like to do my import. In Premiere Pro, there are many ways to kill a rat. Different ways, different editors, different pattern. Do what is good for you. I'm just here to guide you as a beginner, okay? And most of the times, Premiere will give you clues on what to do. So I could just double click to import. All right. Now, this folder that popped up is the last folder that I worked with the last time I opened the software while I was working. All right. So I could, if the clips I'm trying to import into Premiere Pro isn't here, I could go somewhere else, try to locate them. Is it this? Where are they? Is it in my music? Is it in the desktop? Where am I going to find it? So for the benefit of this case, let me just import this one. I'll click and open it. So to import this into the project. So you see this environment is the project, okay? Now, this one, which is the source monitor, is to preview your project clips. The things that you have in your project are previewed in this area that we have here. So if I double click it, it's going to pop up in the source monitor. All right. Now you see the play head here. I could drag it down to the beginning. All right. I could drag it down to the beginning here like this. So give me a second, please. Okay, so this is the beginning of me doing a recording. All right. So let's play this to preview it. If I click play, you see it playing like this. That's me pressing the record button.
Hello guys, I hope this meets you well. This is to inform you about the video editing workshop.
Okay, so that we don't waste too much time doing that. So I preview whatever I get in my source monitor. So don't forget that you could ask your question. Okay, Mr. Michael is saying if we could start again. I don't think we've gone far. What we just did was to just put the software on. All right, we did put the software on, and just launch your software, Michael. Launch your software. When you launch your software open, then it will take you to the new project. Click on new project, name it, and click it open. That's where we are. So I think you can continue from there. All right, I think we'll continue from there so that we don't have to go back. Okay. Okay, so the source monitor is to preview. If you follow the cursor, always follow my cursor, please. Follow the cursor here. You will see that when I got to this thing that looked like a video icon, it changed to a hand. This one looked like an audio icon, it changed to an hand. Simply means that I could drag it. All right. Do the same thing, I could drag it. Okay. So before I tell you where to drag it to, let us talk about this bounding box here, which is called the timeline. The timeline is the place that you basically do all of your edits. Every edit, you're going to see different tools here. You see this one, selection tool, as we highlight it, track, select forward tool, ripple edit. We are going to look at all of this to the razor tool, the pen tool. Now you will see some with a drop-down menu icon that is there. It simply means if I click and hold, they are going to show. So rectangle, ellipse, what have you. The hand tool, if I click, you see it's for zooming. The text tool, you see type tool and vertical type tool. Okay, so for this timeline, the first thing you want to do before you open this is, don't forget that you have an idea of the nature of the clip that you want to make. Are you making it for Instagram? Instagram normally is a square video. So it's usually 1080 by 1080 or 1920 by 1920, depending on the kind of size you want. All right. The video size that we are looking at is 1920 by 1080p. So they call it 16 by 9 aspect ratio. Okay. So if I want it to be, and that's HD, high definition. If I want it to be in 4K, I'm going to increase it again. You understand? So that's what we call the sequence. You need to create a sequence before you start inputting your edits into the sequence. And if we go back here, you see that this is the timeline. They said no sequences at the moment. You follow me, there are no sequences. So what I want to do, before you start editing, you must first of all create a sequence. So if you come to the project monitor, this area here, you will see search, which I want to find a particular clip. Okay, I could create a bin. A bin is just like a folder where I will keep things. but I don't work that way. Every video editor has their own workflow. All right. So if I want to create a new item, as I put this that look like a page here, you see that it's a light new item, right? If you click it, it's going to show you a list of drop down: sequence, project shortcuts, offline, file, adjustment layer, bars, blah, and what have you. All right. So the first thing you want to do whenever you open Premiere Pro and you've saved your project and Premiere Pro has opened for you to start editing, you create a sequence. Okay. You know the nature of the type of sequence you want. If you want to create for Instagram, it's a square video. If you want to create for maybe say TikTok, it's a 19 by 20 1080p video that is inverted. You know the way your phone is. If you turn your phone vertically, those vertical type of videos. So it is here in the sequence. You just come and you click. So I want to create a new sequence on my timeline. I just click it open. It's going to bring an option for us. So it is here that we are going to start looking what type of sequence do we want to create. The nature of the type of sequence you want to create. By default, you see sequence presets. A preset is something that Adobe has already done for you for different cameras, for different aspect ratios. So what you want to do, instead of this sequence preset, no, you go to settings and impute your own. So the editing mode is what you want to search first. All right. You see this icon here that shows that it has a drop down. I click it open. I scroll upward and I will see custom. All right. I see other options here too. HD, Sony camera, or what have you. All right. You see different type. I'm seeing 1080p videos or what have you. So I just come here, I click custom. All right, because I know the nature of the type of video I want to create. Most videos are done in 30 frames per second. Later, when we start working, especially if you want to involve in the motion design class in After Effects, I will explain fully what frames per second. We know that what a frame is. What is a picture? We say that a picture is 1,000 words, right? It's made of over 1,000 words. But do you know what video is? A video is just simply motion pictures. A picture, still frames that were shot at many frames per second and stacked together. That's why if I'm standing like this and I take a photo of myself, and I move a bit and I take a photo, then I move again, I take a photo, I move again, I take a photo, I move again, I take a photo. The moment I sequence all of them together in a large frame, in 1 second, maybe I do like this, move several movements, 30 movements in 1 second will give me, if I play it, it will look like a video. That's what it simply means. All right, let me not use it to bore you at the moment. So just know that for most of the videos you'll be creating, 30 frames per second will work fine. So click 30. The frame size, how is it going to be displayed on the device? If you change your phone in an horizontal pattern, you will see that the frame size is usually 1920 by 1080p, which is, if you divide that, it will give you 16 by 9. Okay, so most horizontal videos are 16 by 9. But in terms of clarity, we'll be talking about the size 1920 by 1080. If I reduce this by 2, I will get 1280 by 720. I hope you get. So if you look at it, it says 16 by 9 here, 1920, horizontal 1080. Sorry, the vertical is 1080, the horizontal is 1920. Okay, do the same thing on your PC as you've seen me do it. So editing mode, custom, time-based 30 frames per second. Then leave this to 1920 by 1080. That will be all for this, and just click okay. Now you've created your first sequence. So now that you've created your first sequence, you will now see I will bring you back to all of these tools again. This tool is simply the selection tool. This one is the track select forward tool. This is the ripple edit tool. This is the razor tool. It's not enough to be memorizing all of these things. Rather, as you work with them, you understand their use. Okay, so for this, I will take you back to the project monitor so that I can explain what the sequence does. If you check very carefully, you are going to see that we've talked about the source monitor, we've talked about the project monitor, and we just started talking about the sequence. There's one we've not talked about. It is this program. The program is to display what you have in your sequence. Just the same way the source is to display what you have on your project. All right. So if I start editing now, everything I'm going to have on this sequence that I just created is going to be displayed on the program monitor. So how do I import stuff into the sequence? Don't forget that I said to import into the project is the first step, because that's how you're going to have things to work with. You need clips to work with. So for the project, you import things into the project. Now that they are inside the project, you have to import it from the project, just drag it into the sequence that you just created. I hope you get this very clearly. Now, there are two ways to do this. I told you earlier that to import files into the project, just double click it and you will import. That's one way. But the other way to do that is to just open your folder. Let's say this is the folder I have here. So this is the folder I have. Open it. Go to video. So this is a folder opened. So you can open a folder too. So instead of me to just double click here and import, I could just simply drag and drop a file that I like. Say this, drag it. As you are dragging it, put it inside the project side. Drop it here like this. Premiere will install it inside. So you see that I now have two videos clip that I have imported already, and the sequence that I created. I will tell you the use of why the sequence is here. The sequence is here because it is in the project. Everything you are going to use for this project will always be in the project. Anything you are going to edit in the sequence will be on the project side. So if I double click this, it's going to display a preview on my source. I hope you get this. Now, there's nothing displaying in my program yet. Do you know why? Can somebody tell me why nothing is displaying on my project, on my program yet? Anybody, please. Just type it on the comment section. Why is nothing displaying on my program yet? Why is nothing displaying on my program yet? Okay, I think I'm going to help you guys. I just said that the program monitor here is to display everything you have on your sequence. Now, I have not collected anything from my project into my sequence, so the program monitor will not display anything. I hope you guys understand this. The only reason I will display something on my sequence. Great. Correct. Sunday, that's a good one. The only reason I will display something on my program is when I have something on the sequence. So thus far, I have not brought anything into my sequence. So there are ways to, how do I bring things into my sequence? Two ways to bring things into my sequence. There are many ways anyways, but for the purpose of this, I want to stick to just two ways of doing things. Like same way I told you that there are two ways of importing files into your project. One, I double clicked and I brought it inside, and the other one I just simply dragged and dropped from a folder. Okay, same way I can introduce things from that project into my sequence. I can just drag it directly from the project. Let's say I take this, I click it, and I will drag it. Now, as I'm dragging it, you see what Premiere is doing. It's already snapped. It's showing me the best place to put it. Okay, I could go forward, I could go upward. You see that as I'm going up, the two files are separating. The reason for this separation is I'm taking both the video file and the audio file together whenever I drag from my project directly. I'll take this back. So if you look at the sequence, you will see V1 here, V2, this simply means video 1, video 2, video 3. If I click Control, I will be able to scroll up. Okay? Click Control and scroll up. Click Control and scroll up with your mouse. You see? You see, it's only video that can stay at this upper part. You see the demarcation here, like this. This place, this line demarcates all of the video. At the bottom half, we have all of the audio. So if I click this now and drag it back, if I put it in video 1's location, it's going to occupy audio 1 location. If I put it in video 2, it's going to occupy video 2 and audio 2. If I move upward, it's going to do the same thing. I hope you get this. It is very important that as a video editor, you work decoratively. What do I mean? Your work has to follow a particular pattern so that it can be coherent. So that when you send it to maybe a colleague in your team, they do not struggle to know what is what. All right. So I'll put it in video 1 position and drop. When I do this, you see my playhead is at the starting. I can drag it to anywhere I like. Okay. Drag anywhere you like. Now, for your own case, it might not be snapping. There's a reason why. You see, if I click this, it's showing me the best part to put it. It's snapping, sort of. Your own might just be moving, like, say, moving up and down. No particular snapping. You know why? This button here, follow my lead. This button you see here that looks like a magnet. If you click your highlight, you see snap in timeline. Or just press S. So I'll click it so that it can snap. All right, do that for yourself too. Okay, so I've imported the first clip from my project into our sequence. It is in this sequence that we can start maneuvering these clips to make it look good and presentable. The client will give you a brief. When they give you a brief, you get the clips and you work accordingly to get the best product that is possible. So this is the first way. So I'll delete this for now. Okay. Don't forget, if you have any questions, drop them into the comment section. I'm monitoring it in real time. Okay, guys. I'm monitoring it in real time. So let's look at the second way of importing into your timeline. To import into your timeline, I told you earlier that if you come to the source monitor, so the first one we imported directly from the project into the timeline. Now, let's see how we can import from the source into the timeline. Why should I import from the source into the timeline? The only reason I want to import from source into timeline is maybe because I have a particular, let's say I have a 30-minute clip. And I've already seen it before because I previewed it already. And I know that what I want to start, where I want to start from is from the 5-minute mark. And I want to end in the 10-minute mark. So from the 10 minutes from the 5 minutes to the 10 minutes position, what I want to do is get the clip from that duration. The best way to do this is just to go, I'll preview it on my source monitor. Then I will go over to use this play head to preview. So I'll play, for example. I don't want you guys to see this, or whoever that will view it to see this.
Hello guys,
So I want you to start from the hello guys position. All right. So I could start from here. So how do I make sure it starts from this particular place? Use the shortcut I, okay? Or I could use this add marker that you see here, okay? I'll just click add marker here. Click it. It'll clip a marker in this, all right? So, but the best way to do it, just press I. I simply means this is your input. This is where it will start from. Initial stage. Okay? I click I there. Now, where do I want it to end? Let's say I want it to end in this particular position here. I'll just use the playhead, move the playhead, move the playhead. I'll put in, so the other one will be out. So I'll just press O. So I and O, we make sure that whenever I'm importing this clip from the source monitor, it is only this section that will be collected. Okay? So like I told you guys earlier, if you drag only the video, when I went to this icon that looked like video, what does it show? It shows it changed to a hand so that you can drag it, right? So I'll just drag into whatever position I want it to be on my sequence. Okay? Now you see that it collected only video. To collect the audio for this same time position, I'll say come here and drag it. You see when it entered the video portion, what did you see? You saw that it's showing no, not allowed, right? The icon changed to not allowed. But if you push it down to the audio side, it allowed you. But because I want the video to sync to the audio, I'll put it in the same place that the playhead is so that they can be well aligned. Okay? So now I've gotten this particular section from the source monitor. So you see the two ways of importing the content from clips from the project and also the source monitor. I hope we all got this. If there's any question thus far, please guys, make sure that you simply indicate on the comment section. Okay. So let's continue. At this point, I will delete. You see that you can actually click to highlight, drag. If I drag this, immediately it touches the clip, which is in this case, the sound file. I can delete it. If I come here and I touch this, just to highlight it, it will do what? It will highlight it. I can also drag for both of them and select both, okay? I also just Control A, all right? It will select both. So I can just click this, or I drag this, or I just Control A to choose them. Now you see that the sound looks a bit very, very small, all right? But let me use another clip to explain this next step that I want to explain, so that you can understand the meaning of all of these tools that we have here in the sequence. I'll delete this now and import this file from the project. Drag and drop it here. So this is where we are. Okay. Now, for me to know the particular point where I want to start, I don't actually need to just push my playhead forward. I can know where I started by just looking at the audio signals that were registered, because I know what started it, okay? But because it's too small, I want to zoom in so that I can know for sure, for certain, where this is. I don't want to be working like this. It's too slim. Okay, it's too tiny. If you look at this, you see this slider here just in the sequence. Follow my cursor, please. I can use this to drag sideways to see the whole timeline. All right. Drag back. Okay, that's to move. What if I want to zoom in? I could click one end of the slider and drag it in. As I'm dragging in, it's zooming in. Okay. I'm not seeing clearer all of the audio signals that were registered. So I cannot place my playhead close to this here, like this. I hope you guys are following what I'm doing thus far. Perfect. I really need you guys to be asking questions so that when I will be answering your questions, we'll have a lot so that we don't do too much back and forth. Okay. So I want to show you with these clips how to work with all of the tools that we have here. So this is the selection tool. If you are used to Adobe suite of software, whether it's Photoshop or Premiere Pro or After Effects, the selection tool, which is the one you can use to be moving stuff around, is usually called, the shortcut is usually V. So I could just click V, or I could come here and click it on the sequence tab. Okay. It is important that you guys know how to work with shortcuts. It will save you a great deal. All right, because clients could give you something to work with, or you could have a deadline. The time it will take you to be coming here to click all of these tools, it's actually, we just know the shortcut. If I press V, I'm getting this. If I press I, I'm getting this. If I'm pressing this, I'm getting this. All right. So I know that with more practice, you will get better as this. So let us look. We now know how to use the selection tool. The selection tool is just to, maybe I want to select this, or I want to push it around. I'll take it back to the video 1 position. Okay. Now, if I want to go to the end of this clip directly, do I have to scroll just this slider only? I just told you now that you want to make sure that you are fast doing this. Okay, is it every time I'll be scrolling back and forth to know where the end of a clip is, or do I have to be moving this play slider up and down, back and forth, so that I can get to where I'm going to? Certainly not. So if I push the down keyboard, in your keyboard, down button, if you just push the down button, you take it to the end of the particular clip, you are highlighted. If you push it up, it will take you back. So down is forward, like this, and up is backward. Okay, so that's that for the selection. Now the next tool we want to look at is, for this class, we're not going to be looking at every one tool that you see here, because while we are working, I will be showing you the use for all of these tools. Okay, the moment we start working with them, I will show you the use of all of these tools. You want to learn by doing, not learn by cramming. I hope you understand this. So it is very, very important that you note this. As you do, you start understanding, because you now, to enable muscle memory. All right. So the next tool we'll be looking at is the razor tool. Razor tool is to cut. You see that the moment I choose the razor tool, it's changed from the selection tool that used to be a pointer, so something like a razor blade that would cut something. So if I just come to a clip, I look at the sound here, it's closed. I want to cut this empty space that I said nothing. Probably I was playing around this area. I'll just come here and click it. Now it has cut only the clip. All right. Now only the clip has cut. Now I could come here, because the snapping feature which is this magnet kind of button icon here, is enabled. I could just, whenever I come close to the playhead, it will just show me to cut at the playhead. I will cut here too. So if you watch, we have succeeded in cutting the clip, both the audio and the video file, at this particular position. What if I want to go forward and maybe cut somewhere else? maybe here, for example. I'll do the same thing. I'll just click here, cut here, cut here. But why am I wasting time cutting video clip and cutting audio clip instead of just selecting both? I could just say Ctrl A to select, push the player to where I want it cut, and click it. It will cut both files together. Push it here, click it. It will cut both files together. All right. So the reason I'm cutting is because maybe I want to do away with some parts. Okay. Now you're asking me, how am I moving from left to right in the sequence without pushing this button? This slide that I showed you earlier. It's with the use of the mouse. Always make sure you are using a mouse when you are working inside of Premiere. So it makes your work fast. For example, I just want to move a little. I don't want to move this too much, this slider too much. So what I'm going to do is just to scroll down, I will be moving to my right. Scrolling down little by little, I will be moving to my right, just like this, and maybe I have a cut here, move forward there. Now, if I cut here, you see that it's in both places. Why? Because I selected both earlier. Okay? But if I click back my selection tool and select only this, for example, and I want to make sure I cut only the video, what am I going to do? Just simply right click it. If I right click this, I have to unlink. So now the video and the audio are now separate files, just as we have it if you imported them from the source monitor. All right. So if I want to make sure that I want them linked back, I'll just select both of them, then click the link, right click, and link it back. So if I click this, both of them will be highlighted together. I hope you guys understand this to this point. Okay, so that's that for cutting at the moment. Now, I told you guys earlier that for me to move backward, look at where my player is. My player is here. I told you if I want to go back to the back clip, what am I going to do? I'm going to press the up button. So I press it, it's going to go to the end of the next clip. All right. If I do the same thing, it's go to the end of the next clip. If I want to come to this position, for example, instead of me moving this playhead here, a fast way to do it is just press down arrow key. All right. Again, it will move me forward. Again, forward, forward, forward. I hope you guys understand this. Now, if I want to move one frame at a time, okay, how do I do it? If I just move like this, the right arrow key or left arrow key will be moving one frame at a time. That if you check my definition of what a frame is earlier, I told you that if I could take a picture of myself and be changing position little by little and compile them together, that's what a video is. Okay, so if I want to be moving one frame at a time, maybe I'm trying to get to a particular point, use either the right arrow key or left arrow key depending on the side you want to move to. So if we jump right into the software, I could move one frame forward. But if I press the down key, it's going to take me to the beginning of the next clip. You see that? Now, if I want to move one frame backward, what am I going to do? Left arrow key. One frame at a time. Now, I'm taking my time to explain all of these things because this is one of the best opportunity you have to learn the basics of video editing. If you master all of these tricks, I'm telling you, when you start working, my God. Okay, let's continue. What if I want to move come back here. Okay, let me save that for later. Let me save that for later. Now, I've cut these clips into different sections. Okay, so if I play them from the start, I want my playhead to come to the starting. So it's either I'll push back so that it can come back, or I will just use the slider to take it to, let's say it was here before, I'll take it to the starting, then click here and drag. However you play with it, see, this thing is not about cramming. Don't cram anything. Just play with this. You have access to watch this content again. And tomorrow we'll also indulge ourselves in the WhatsApp group so that we can talk about what we learned before we start our class tomorrow. We started a bit late today, and I'm sorry for that. Okay. So I'm now at my playhead is now at the beginning of the clip. I told you there are several ways. If it was here before, I could just right arrow key and take it back, or I could just drag it, the playhead, take it back. Excuse me, please. So I've been able to cut it at the place I want it. If I press play.
Hello, guys.
Hello, guys. Okay. So this part is now an area I don't want. So what do you do to something you don't want? You discard it. Is it not true? So I'll just click the space bar to delete it, or I could go to the edit and clear it, or I could just click delete. If your keyboard has delete key, just press the delete key. Either ways, delete it. So I now have that part deleted. Okay. So I can just drag this, all of this, take it to the beginning of the clip, or I could click this space that is now left and delete the space so that the next clip and the rest of them, don't forget. So for example, if I could zoom out a little bit, you see the rest of the clips are here. Okay. If I pick only this one and drag, it simply means the space is now here. Okay. If I click this, I'm just suffering myself for nothing. I will undo by Ctrl Z. Okay. Ctrl Z is your normal way of undoing anything in Premiere Pro. Just like you can just Ctrl Z in other software. But the difference here in Premiere Pro is that, or in Adobe Suite of software, is that when you want to redo, you know, you undo with Ctrl Z and redo with Ctrl Y. When you want to redo, you don't use Ctrl Y in Premiere Pro or any Adobe software. You use Ctrl, Shift, and Z. So instead of just saying Ctrl Z, add Shift to it, which will redo. So I think I'm treating your question now at the moment, Michael. Mr. Michael, to delete on the sequence, just click the item, highlight it. I told you how to select earlier. It's either I can drag, click and drag like this and delete. Okay. I'll bring that back with Ctrl Z. Or I just click this. If I want to remove only the clip, I'll come here and unlink it, then delete this part. Or I could delete only the audio, whatever you want to do. All right. Now that whatever method you choose to delete whatever you want to delete, but now we have a space here. I can click this space now and delete this space. It will not take the clip, everything in the whole sequence, all the clips in the sequence that I've cut earlier, we just take them to the beginning. Okay, so I think it is a faster way to do it. All right, but this is at this point. All right, so I've shown you how to use the selection tool and the razor tool. These are almost the most important tools that you'll be using in Premiere Pro. But because you guys are beginners, I'm going as very basic as I could go. When I'm working in my own workflow, this is not what I do. All right, this is certainly not what I do. I will show you what I do now in a few minutes. I don't know whether if I do this, it's going to be too much for you. I'm looking for a good place for us to stop this class at the moment, because a lot that has been done, because I want you guys to practice, practice, and practice. But then, let's just do it, please. Let's just do it. I think it will help you guys a lot. So I've shown you guys how to delete spaces, how to delete clips, how to unlink. Right click and unlink. I'll just, or if I want to make sure that I'm linking them back, I right click, I drag and click both of them together and I link both of them back. A faster method to do all of these things, cutting, so that you don't have to waste. I told you earlier, you don't want to be wasting time doing cuts. You cut this, you drag this. You don't want to be wasting time. Okay, so that's what I'm doing on my own case. So to be able to do that, click edit, guys. All of you guys, click edit. Go to preferences. When you get to your preferences, click the trim. Okay, this is what is going to pop up. This pop-up came up. Highlight trim here. In my own case, it's already selected. Make sure that allow selection tool to choose roll and ripple trims without modifier key. Then the second one, allow current tool to change trim type of previously selected edit point. Make sure that the first two check boxes are checked. Make sure these two check boxes are checked. Then you click OK. If you've done this, trust me, you will not need to be using this razor tool just like that. All right, I will show you a faster method to be doing that. Now, but before I show you this faster method, I want you guys to go over to edit again and click keyboard shortcuts. For my own case, the add edit is X. Your own add edit, tell me on the comment section what you have there, the shortcut for add edit. Tell me what you have there. Add edit, tell me what you have there. What do you have there? I think it should be Ctrl K by default, but I changed mine to X because it's faster for me to just put cut as an X there. All right, so I'm watching and waiting for you guys. What do you have in your add edit? I'm waiting for you guys, please. This class has to be very interactive. If anybody is missing out, you have no reason to miss out because I'm here, all right? So you could ask your questions. While we wait, guys, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Click the like button for this video. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm waiting for your questions now. If you guys already have, I want to know, guys, what your add edit key is. This is the add edit key. What do you have it as? I have mine as X. Okay, so that we can be working in sync. If you press Ctrl K, it's still going to give you the same thing. It's going to split your clip just at the player edge, the play edge. All right, so I don't know if you want to, you could change it to X too. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, since nobody is saying anything, I think I have to go on. So whenever I'm using Ctrl K, whenever I'm using X, you press Ctrl K. Or you just go type add edit here. Okay. Then you add, okay, whatever you want. If it is this one, you just change it to X. Click it and change it to X. All right. Then you click OK. You understand me? since I have mine at the right position as X, then there's no point for me to change it. But for you guys, it's either I use X or Control K. Control K is the default normally. So I wanted to show you a faster way to edit, to split video, and to just edit faster, to do all of these things faster. Because if you say you want to be switching between X and the razor tool, which is C and V for selection tool, you waste too much time. Okay, when you read in a real scenario, whenever you are working with a clip, there are faster ways, and these are what we call the ripple edit tool. Okay, whether you are ripple edit tool, rolling edit, or ray stretch, all of this could be done almost automatically without you coming here to click them. So if you've already done this, where I said go to your edits and your preferences and trim, then you selected those two check boxes, you should be able to do this thing that I'm talking about. Okay, so Sunday said is showing ripple edit too. All right, so if what I meant is it's supposed to show ripple edit, what I was saying is that in your keyboard shortcuts, add edits, click the add edits. Okay, make sure it is X if you want to have same thing I have. In your own, it should be Control K. All right, so whenever I'm pressing X, you should press Control K. But I like to make things easy for me. Instead of Control K, I like to just press one simple button, all right, and X. What this does for us is, if I say I want to, if I'm here, for example, in my timeline, I want to split the video at the play head, I'll just press X. It has split. Okay, come here, I press X, it don't split. All right, now if I want to drag, because I have already changed my trim and I add those two checkboxes on, you see that when I'm at this end, there's what it will ripple edit. It will change to a yellow sign. You see that yellow facing back? Now that I'm in this other clip, the yellow is now facing forward direction. But previously, if I have those things, those two checkboxes we had earlier when we went to edit and we click trim, but add those two unchecked, it will not be like this. It will need me to be coming here to click them every time. This is the rolling edit. Okay, this is the ripple edit. All right, we are rolling edit and ripple edit, ray stretch. Okay, so for ease, instead of having that, just work with only your selection tool. So your selection tool is the only tool that you have. All right, you have the selection tool there, and you don't have to be clicking razor, ripple edit, what have you, provided you follow that simple instruction of going to edit and clicking trim and selecting the first two checkboxes that you have there. You'll be working only with the selection tool and just be using the mouse. So if I just go to my playhead here like this, if I want to split this, no need for me to come to this razor tool and click it here like this to open it. No point. Just from the selection tool, if I say I want to split it here where the playhead is, if I press X, it will split. Okay, if I come here, I press X, it will split it. That's what the function of the add edit, and using it directly from the clip that I said you could go to edits, preferences, and trim. Okay, so now that I've done this, instead of me to come here and click this rolling edit, you see what rolling edit is? This red icon that you see here is just to reduce the size of a clip. Okay, the size of a clip is to reduce it. So I come here, I reduce this. All right, come here, reduce this. Okay, so that's the function of this rate edit. So instead of going here to click it first, from the selection tool directly, I don't need to go there to click it. Provided I have those two check boxes on, I could just come here. You see it changed to this sign. I will explain what this means to you guys later. I'll push it like this. You see it now? Now for this yellow, come like this. You understand? Now it seems as if both the yellow and the red are doing the same thing. I will show you that it is not actually. For example, let me use a clip that, let me delete this, okay? If I want to increase this, you see that it's increased only the clip. The red increased only the clip, okay? So only the clip got increased back, right? But what if I have, say, the yellow? Let's see. The yellow did something. It worked on both the video and the audio together. So if I want to remove the space, instead of me coming here to click this space and delete it, I'll just make sure that as I position my cursor close to the end of the place I want to drag, I'll just drag there like this. Simple, right? But if I just want to extend this clip backward, only the clip. So you see the importance of this. So there's no point for me to be crisscrossing all of these tools like we have here. Now that I've shown you all of this, what I want to do is to remove everything we have on the timeline. Control A, delete it. Make sure my playhead is at the start of the clip. Then re-import the video file back. So I'll re-import it back like this. And let's start working and see how fast we can go as opposed to what we did earlier. Okay. Whenever your question gets answered, please make sure that you say my question is answered. So I'll ask you, Kanu Michael, do you now know how to delete from the sequence? Just respond to me, yes. Do you now know how to delete from the sequence? If you can, respond to me by saying, yes, I can now. Are we all on the same page? So that I could just start working on this script. Are we all on the same page? All of us are on the same page. Then I could start working on this using the method we are now going to be using. So I'm waiting for you guys. Can Michael, you not see the edit on your own? Okay, this is what you will do. The add edit for my own case is supposed to be so that it will be easier for you. You can So let me delete this for now and start afresh. So guys, we're on the same page at the moment. So what I want you guys to do, introduce any clip that you have on the program sequence yet, is because we have nothing on the sequence. So now I want to import start to talk. So let's say I start to talk. So let's say I zoom in a bit, bring to the end. I've done about 4 steps already. So instead of doing that, the method I want to show you guys now, I haven't imported this. I just use Ctrl Z to bring it back, okay? without all of these things here, just working only with the a split here. Now don't forget, you have to select this bounding box first. So make sure that anytime you are working, you select the right place where you want to work. Make sure it is selected. So that's for that. Now I click and drag to the beginning position. And what do I have? If I go to the starting, I will see that it's going now. The clip is now going to start on this position here. All right. So if I play it now, this is what you get.
Hello guys, I hope this meets you well. This is to inform you that the video editing workshop kicks off.
I hope you get the idea. So that's what you do. So if you play
Monday 30th January 2023 by 6 p.m. I expect that to install on your PCs.